Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. I hope you had a lovely Christmas and that you're having a lovely holiday week. It's a couple days after Christmas. I'm always a little happy when it's over, have to be honest with you. I talked to one of my best friends yesterday, and he really does Christmas like has like 20 different decorated trees in his house and that kind of thing. And he sounded absolutely exhausted. So I understand it. It can be a little much, even if you have a low-key Christmas like we did. But it was lovely and had a great time. And it's still Christmas week as far as I'm concerned. And I'm looking forward to a lovely New Year's. I usually go out to dinner New Year's Eve. I don't usually party, all night. But even when I was young, I never really did that. But maybe this year I will. I don't know. I'm feeling a lot better. My arm is healing, and I almost feel 100% back to normal, which is great. Okay, but before I get to my wrap up and a couple other things I want to discuss, I got a package from Patrick. I don't know if any of you are feeling that post-holiday blues. I'm feeling it a little bit, which is why I wore like fire engine red today, because that makes me feel better, elevates my mood, because I'm very sensitive to color, among other things. And I think it's okay to feel that way if you do feel that way. For me, I think it's just I'm feeling overfed and I drank too much, wine and this kind of thing. With so many meals, you can only have so much. Anyway. This is from Patrick, and it is Christmas, but hey, this is a classic. Wow, this is an amazing gift, Patrick, and I wish I had opened it before Christmas, but it's okay because this is something I can enjoy during Christmas week and all year round. And this is a Winter Solstice anthology with a bunch of different horror authors, edited by Ellen Datlow, Christmas and Other Horrors. A beautiful, beautiful hardback cover book. This is lovely. Thank you so much, Patrick. And a beautiful Christmassy, wintry bookmark. See, I'm already feeling better. I don't really have the after holiday blues. I just kind of have it, and I'm acknowledging it. I was actually listening to a podcast yesterday about like the winter in classical, like the winter solstice, like classical pagan Europe, and how the winter months are kind of, it's okay to feel a little dark, and it's natural, and just don't go too dark, don't go over the edge, or try not to. A beautiful card, peace. Dear Regina, well, this is a beautiful card. Wishing you the happiest of holidays and positive wishes for a joyous new year. Sincerely, Patrick. May the beauty of the season bring you peace. May the spirit of the season bring you hope. That is a lovely message on that card. So that was really lovely. I'm just about to finish up a V.C. Andrews book for the Hudson series. So in between the next two books, I'll read a little bit of this anthology. I'll dip in a bit, because I don't really have a lot of holiday anthologies. So this really works nicely. All right, so what did I read? Okay, I read this collection by an author whom I've heard of, but he was probably the first thing I ever read of his. He contacted me on Facebook because I had posted that I was looking for vampire stories for Vamptember, but I didn't get around to reading it until just, a couple weeks ago. If people send me a PDF, I'm not going to read it. So I actually ended up buying it. He sent me a PDF, which was nice of him, but I can't read off my computer screen. So I ended up getting the Kindle version, and I'm really glad I did, because it was really good. So this is an example of a really good book that's out there that really deserves a lot more eyeballs. And this is called Black Days and Bloody Nights by Greg Chapman. It also had a very nice foreword by Stephen Stred. I followed both of these guys on Twitter, I think, so I know about them without really knowing their work. But this is a really good collection. Has kind of a religious theme in a way, which sometimes works for me and sometimes it doesn't, but I thought it was really well done, very well written. I highly recommend this. I really do. I'm trying to read newer horror. That's always kind of my goal, among other things. So when I open myself up to a new horror experience and I really think it's good, I want to share the good news. So definitely check this author out. I will link the the book below. And you might already know him and his work, because I'm a little late to these things. Then I read, loved this, Dark Shadows, the Salem Branch by Lara Parker. I read Angelique's Descent, and then I think there's one or two more. Anyway, I can't wait to read them. She's such a good writer. I wish she had written more books. But this all takes place in the present, well, I say the present, this 1970s. So it kind of picks up where Dr. Julia Hoffman, who's in love with Barnabas, has given him the special treatment, experimental treatment to make him human. But what's great about this story is he's discovering that it's not so great to be human, that the things he used to be able to do as a vampire physically, he can't do anymore. He's feeling old. He's feeling decrepit. He's looking in the mirror. He's not liking what he sees. And a big appeal of a vampire is that you don't age. He feels beholden to Julia, although he is really turned off by her. And poor Julia, I mean, Lara Parker is really great at these subtle descriptions of Barnabas is turned off when he sees like her gray roots, which I definitely have right now because I'm a little overdue at the beauty parlor. The crow's feet around her eyes, and he gets really turned off. And at the same time, this Angelique reincarnated shows up, and she buys the old Collins house and turns it into like a hippie commune, and where they're doing peyote, and it's a little bit of like a Manson family going on. And then it switches between that time and then back in Salem during the Salem witch trials with a young witch being accused of being, well, she's not really a witch. Well, she is a witch, actually. I take that back. She's a real witch who gets accused of being a witch and is put on trial. And it's done in a very historically accurate way. So we have a lot of the characters in the real Salem witch trial included in the novel. So Lara Parker did a wonderful job researching this, and I absolutely loved it. And Patrick, I think it was for Halloween, had sent me, oh, and I got little stickers in here too, this wonderful book that I remember as a kid reading it in elementary school. And this is The Witchcraft of Salem Village by Landmark Books, written by Shirley Jackson. Yes, the Shirley Jackson. And it's a children's book. I probably read it when I was like in 6th grade or 5th grade. I remember the cover. It scared me. This is an excellent book for kids or for grown-ups, beautifully written by Shirley Jackson. It gives an incredible overview of the history of the Salem witch trials in a very short book, but very well written and very concise. It made me think about when I was in high school. I played in The Crucible. I played Elizabeth Proctor. Let's see if I have a picture of it. I was getting all some of my old thespian pictures out when I was researching for Final Dress, but here I am looking very serious. I remember I had to I painted wrinkles on my face, so now I don't need to do that, but at age 17, I guess I did. But yeah, this was great, and it really worked out so well with these two books. I read this one, and then I read this one, and it really enhanced both of the experience. So thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Lara Parker, because this was excellent. Oh, here we go. This was an ebook, and this is my friend, D.L. Tillery, who has a wonderful channel, author D.L. Tillery. This is her fantasy novel, the first in a series called Caliostro, Tale of the Lyvirten. I hope I said the Lyvirten part right. I should know that because I listened to her videos about it, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. Enter the shadows where trust is a gamble and the veil hides more than it protects. This is about a character named Caliostro. He's a mysterious character who lives beyond the veil. And she did a really excellent job with this fantasy concept. Really painted a lovely world for this fantasy series to begin. Caliostro, a Lyvirten who resides near the Mahaven Mountains, has spent centuries finding solace in the solitude of his dark existence, but his quiet life shatters when a mysterious woman, drowning but with no memory of her identity, crosses into his forbidden domain. If you love dark fantasy with also some romance, like there's a lot of sexual tension between these two, which I loved, definitely check out this book. She's put a lot of work into it, and I feel like with a lot of independent authors, they're just not getting the eyeballs that they deserve. And I know just from releasing my books, it used to be you could put a book up on Amazon and you would get right off the bat, 100 sales, and it's just become so much more competitive and so much more difficult that if you can spread the word about good stuff, you should. So I'm spreading the word about this because I really enjoyed it, as I enjoyed her book of poetry, Thorns of My Heart, which is very much in the world that she's writing with Caliostro. So this is the beginning of a series. I really hope it takes off. I wish her well with her creative project because it's really great and it's very unique. And I thought I would end my video today with my best and worst reads for the year, and then also talk about some goals I have for the channel for this year. According to Goodreads, I read 40 books, but I know it's more like 50 because that's always my average. I really do average about a book a week, and I don't always record them on Goodreads, and sometimes these are audiobooks, and those I forget to record on Goodreads a lot. So I know I read more than that, but let's do my best and worst just for fun. So best new horror, I'm going to give this one to Shaded Grove by Oliver C. Seneca. This is an indie author. He has a YouTube channel, and I've been following his work for years. He had a story in one of the anthologies, the HorrorTube anthologies. I think it was Lurking in the Dark. I'm sorry, Oliver, I can't remember. You may have had more than one. It's all a big blur to me because I'm in the process right now of reading stories for the next bookworms, and I'm up to my earlobes in stories. So if I can't remember, I'm sorry. But anyway, he's great. I really loved this book. It was like an asylum horror, scary asylum, haunted asylum, which we love. Haunted hospital, can't go wrong. So I loved that. A worst new horror book. Well, if you watch my channel, you won't be surprised because I've said it many times that I hated this book. And I'm not including books I DNF'd because those books I didn't really read them, so I can't really judge them. But this one I read all the way through, and I hated every minute of it, and that was Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. I know he's a big horror author, and everyone loves him, but I hated this book, absolutely hated it. And I'll never read another thing he ever wrote because I've been so disappointed with all of his work, so sorry about that. Best all around for enjoyment, a book that really impressed me, and this was an audiobook, When the Night Comes Falling, A Requiem for the Idaho Student Murders by Howard Bloom. I just was riveted, and it was an audiobook. I should get the paperback version because I would read it again. I was absolutely riveted to this story, and I have followed this, and I do love true crime. I love true crime when it's well written, like Anne Rule. This reminded me of that. It was just really good writing. It felt like I was reading In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. That's how good it was. So that was my best all around, and worst all around for enjoyment was Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but someone has to say it. All right, so goals for the new year. And I have space in the comments below if you have any suggestions, things you'd like me to do. I've been on this channel now for, I think this is going into my 7th year. My growth has been very slow. Sometimes I'll get a comment, you should have more subscribers. I agree. I would love to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. That is a little bit of a goal. I don't have that far to go, but that would be nice. I'm getting a new computer for Christmas. Well, I got one, but it's not coming till next week. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to get new editing software. I'm finally getting rid of my Premiere Pro subscription. The price went up another $10 this year, and it's when I can't even add it up how much money I've spent on that subscription. I'm reassessing what I'm doing with my writing career because, to be honest with you, it's really, at this point, when I add up the columns, it's really pretty much an expensive hobby. I don't even break even with what I sell compared to what I spend on covers and editing services. I'm just being honest. Advertising, I don't spend a lot of money on advertising, When you go on these Facebook groups and you see people making $500,000 a year, spending $40,000 of that on advertising, it's really hard to compete with that. And part of me is like, I can do that. I can do that. I'm as good as they are. I can start writing romance and all this stuff. But I'm kind of finding that to be a little bit of a drag. And that might be part of my Christmas blues. I'm just being honest. I'm really reassessing. I'm not going to stop writing, but I think I need to maybe just slow down on my output a little bit just for my own sanity, and maybe just start doing like blog posts and stuff, just because I do like to write. But I started getting onto like a merry-go-round feeling of all these books that I have that just need to be edited and just need to get out. But it's really hard to do that when you're not making money. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's a little depressing, I guess is what I'm saying, when I could be putting more effort into my other business, my Etsy store for one. Okay, this is how I'm going to put it. When I compare what I make selling vintage clothes on my Etsy store, which I do very little work on, compared to how much money I've made on selling books, which I put tons of work into, including this channel, I think in this year, I'm not quitting, but I need to reassess my priorities. And that's me being very honest with you guys. Okay, what else? Bookworms Zine will continue. That's a fun project that James and I are continuing to work on. The new issue should be out probably in February. The Right Brain Café will continue. That podcast does not have a lot of listeners, and it really should. I mean, I wouldn't say this if it weren't true. It's we cover a lot of really interesting topics about creativity that I hope that any creative person can relate to. It's not just about us, boring old us. It's about you and how you can be better at being creative. I'm not going to tell you how to make money at it, because I haven't figured that out myself. So maybe that is why we're not getting the listeners. I don't know. But we're going to keep doing it. The Gothic Hearts Reading Challenge will be commencing again in February with, hopefully, we'll do Elizabeth Sagewood and Edie Lewis and D.L. Tillery and a few more people. Last year I kind of had to bail out because of some personal things that happened, but hopefully this year, I'm praying this year will be better. And Slow Burn Sunday will continue. I've been enjoying the process. I've just watched a new movie, so I might not have it out this weekend, but I will have it out soon. And Batilda will be back on January 1st for her horoscope. So we're back in business. So let me know in the comments below if you have any suggestions for this channel as I move into the new year, and maybe ways I can grow a little bit. I would love to hear your thoughts. So that's all I have for today. I hope you have a very happy new year, and I will see you next year in my haunted library. Bye.